MyMulberryHouse, and this is our first ever YouTube long series, which is super exciting. I have wanted to do this for a very long time, but you know, life, kids, the usual gets in the way. But I am absolutely delighted to say that we will be starting a longer version YouTube channel for us to share all our hints and tips and creations around country living and interior design with you. And what better chance than the start of the festive period. There is so much to look forward to at this time of year, and we've got so much decorating to do. As you can see, I've got the first tree in the hallway done. This year the theme is, it's a little bit celestial, it's a little bit sort of shells and pearls and crafty. I wanted it to feel quite folksy, and this tree in the hallway is always a bit of fun. It's, well, in fact, all our decoration is usually a little bit of fun, but this in particular, the kids have complete free reign and we do it all together. And I think it's just, there's something really fun about a hallway tree that can feel just really inviting and very fun if you use different materials. So we've got some shells on here, we've got some faux pearls, we've got some streamers, so it's looking really, really lovely. Now we have got the big tree to do. We've got to put 7,000 lights on an 8-foot tree. I actually think this year's tree might be even bigger, so we'll see. We'll see if I need another set. My husband might kill me. But I am super excited to share all the exciting things that we're doing with you. You know, the countryside is just such a delightful time at this time of year, and there's just so much going on in nature. Our ducks, our cat just fell off a basket, don't worry. The ducks, the chickens, the cats, and we cannot wait to share it with you. So if you don't know me, I'm Leah. I live at Mulberry House and my husband is Rue, and my 2 sprogs are India and Rafe. We have 4 ducks, 6 chickens and 3 cats that we all call Pud, Big Pud, Fatty Pud and Little Pud. And we absolutely love living in the countryside, and more than anything I love sharing my little hints and tips of making the everyday a little bit extraordinary. So you know those days where you're just having an awful day and it's just gone wrong from start to finish, just that small moment, that small win that you can feel like you've achieved, or you've really just embraced life as it is right now, that particular day. And there are so many ways that you can do that, and I feel I feel particularly passionately about this because it was a big change for me over lockdown. So at the beginning of lockdown, lockdown started in April. I had India in December, and so we were completely, cut off, and it was just me and the kids. And what was great about that was that I was on maternity leave, so I actually didn't need to worry about working full time at the same time because I was already on maternity leave. So that was a real lucky thing for me and a real joyful thing. And we started doing things that we never would have done before. I never would have done before, like making mud pies and putting loads of dinosaurs in this big mud pie. We started building a new vegetable patch. We started growing seeds. We started doing all the things that I thought, oh, one day, and then one day eventually came. And a worldwide pandemic is a horrible thing, but equally it kind of made me stop and think, what are the most important things to me, and what does that mean for me, my family and my children and Mulberry House? So it basically all started from there. And then after lockdown, I desperately wanted to hold on to this wonderful feeling that I had manifested, this sort of Shirley Hughes world that I'd always envisaged in my mind and from reading books. And it came to the point where I was going back to work full time, and I just thought to myself, I have to have, even if it's just for me, I have to have a record of this. I have to have an impetus to make me remember that there are good things even on the very, very tough days, to keep going, keep, you know, celebrating those magical small things. And so I started posting on Instagram, and the rest is history. It just sort of started slowly and snowballed from there. But I think the one thing that I have wanted to do from the get-go is, it's all, this sounds selfish, I don't mean it to sound selfish, but it has all been for me and my family. So what you see, yes, it is definitely the best bits. It's not, you know, the tantrums over odd socks. It's not the tantrums over anything, quite frankly. But it is a reminder to celebrate those best bits, enjoy those best bits, and really just celebrate what life has to offer. So without further ado, I would love to invite you to Mulberry House for our Christmas celebration and countdown to the big day and getting our house ready for that festive season.
I get asked all the time if I use special lights. The answer is no. They're just warm LED string lights. The trick is the amount of lights I use, 7,000 to be exact, on an 8-foot tree. I wrap each branch with a tangle of lights, which is time consuming but totally worth it in the end. On the subject of ribbons, they're just ribbons I've collected over the years. I never throw a ribbon away. I particularly love using bright colours, yellow, turquoise, pinks, to make a statement, things that wouldn't be associated with Christmas normally. We don't tie them on, we just drape a ribbon over the branch or throw them, and that's how it stays. We don't have that many baubles either. An 8-foot tree would require so many decorations, but reused ribbons are a beautifully decorative and inexpensive way to dress a tree.
Side of the lake, Dak was already very busy. I need to bake a cake, a pudding, pies, tarts and sweets. I can't wait to spend Christmas at Rabbit's house. And down at the railway station, standing on the platform, Mole was ready, waiting for his train. How nice, he said. I shall enjoy spending Christmas with my friends. Meanwhile, Mouse had started packing. I'll need clothes for cold weather and warm. Okay, so I'm just about to start the tree garland. One of my favourite jobs. I really enjoy this one. So it's evolved over the years. So some years I have done straight up the banister kind of garland. Some years I've done a big draping garland. And I've also collected different materials over the years. So this isn't something you necessarily need to do perfectly in the first year in your house. So this is a very sort of cheapy kind of looking faux Christmas tree kind of garland. And this is relatively very inexpensive. So I started with this, then I added this jobby, which I use with the cheapy one just to bulk it out a little bit. So this one's got some faux eucalyptus, it's got some faux pine cones, it's got some apples in here, and it is generally a sort of a better quality garland. And you can see how I've added the two together, that it does become quite thick and substantial. And then I will also add real foliage into this. That means you then don't have to use quite so much real foliage to get that kind of really dramatic effect that you're looking for. So you bulk it up with the faux stuff, and then you sort of layer in the beautiful fresh greenery, which actually you don't need that much of. And that's good for a few different reasons. One, because it doesn't last that long. So there are different types of foliage that you can use which last longer than others. So eucalyptus, for example, is a great one to use because it dries beautifully. Ivy dries beautifully, really, really lovely. And Christmas tree material actually does, you have to be a bit careful. You can't have the one that drops the needles off. You need an evergreen one. That does actually last really well. It will look a bit crispy by the end of the season, but it does last quite nicely if you like that sort of more traditional look. I tend to use a lot of eucalyptus, a lot of ivy, and a little bit of, things that drape nicely. So there are different things that you can use, and it also means that you don't have to have so much bulk. You don't have to have so much fresh stuff, which takes a lot. We've got, the woods and obviously our garden on our doorstep, but, if you're in central London, you don't just have access to all that greenery. So it means that you can use a lot less and have a really great, wonderful effect. And obviously you can reuse this every single year. And if you're having a year where you just do not have the time, you can just use the faux stuff. So this year I've had an idea. This year I have found a couple of wonderful pictures on Pinterest and Instagram that I've been really inspired by. They are artist interpretation. So, well, they're drawn or painted or AI'd, I don't know. So I have to curb my enthusiasm slightly because they might not be achievable, and obviously what happens in reality is very different to someone's imagination and conjuring that up as a picture. But I've had this idea. These my beautiful tablecloths, red and white stripe from Twizzle London, I think. I had these for my birthday party, and I'm going to try and reuse them. And how I'm going to do that, I'm not entirely sure, but we're going to sort of see how they drape. I think they're going to drape really nicely like this, and we'll see how it looks. So yeah, it's a new concept, a new idea for me. I think it's going to look really good, so I'll show you when we're done. I'm going to start off by adding the base layer first, and then the other one on top, and then just build from there. So we'll see how we go. Okay, so we've got most of my my garlands are actually already attached to each other. So I've got the kind of less inexpensive, the more inexpensive one, and then the fancier one is already attached to it because I do it every year. Just going to use some string to tie it on, and make sure you can't see the string. But I'll probably have a big swag there anyway, so we don't have to worry too much about it. Okay, so what I think I'm going to do, this is going to be trial and error, so we'll just see how this goes. But I've folded the tablecloth in half, and then I'm going to concertina it like this. So hopefully that will cause a relatively neat and uniform spread as I layer it. So I've done that end and then I'll do the other end. We'll see how this goes. Just going to take a look at it, see how it's going. Okay. That's definitely looking better. It's not quite right yet, but it's definitely looking better. This is looking really good. Needs still needs a lot more tweaking, but I think it's looking really good, so hopefully you do too. The hinge has just come off the chicken door, so we've got to try and get it back on. I was in the middle of shooting the Christmas content, so I'm in my really nice dress and a barber and a hat. So yeah, this is real life country living. And it's raining.
She might have the diameter of these.
Do you want me to get the drill?
No, it's not that, it's these are as wide as the hole.
Oh.
I think that could be an issue. I'm just getting them in for now. If I can just, even though I can just get these in a little bit tonight, it'll hold it for tonight. And I can finesse it in the morning when I can see better.
Can you tie this?
Yep. Okay, here you go.
Look.
Oh, Rafe.
Father Christmas and a football.
Ready? Oh, hang on. What is it?
India, have you finished yours? No. I have.
A very Merry Christmas. I hope you're very, very well. It is almost time and it is very, very, very exciting now. I'm feeling much more relaxed. 99% of my work is done, so that's a real bonus. And I'm just really looking forward to some downtime, looking forward to spending some time with the children and playing games and watching films and generally just slothing about. But I thought I would show you my Fortnum's hamper, which was kindly sent to me for some work that I did with Fortnum's, and it's just fantastic. It's so wonderful. So I thought I'd share what I've got. Got Christmas coffee, and that is going to be a present for my husband for Christmas. Another present for my husband for Christmas are these Toffolossus biscuits. They are so good. I'm not really a sweet person, but these are just absolutely divine. And then I keep the tin, and you can put your spaghetti in them, and they look really cool in the kitchen. So every year I get the Stilton in the jar from Fortnum's, and absolutely love them. We use them as toothbrush holders afterwards. And a lot of my US followers have said it's really annoying that they won't post the Stilton for obvious reasons because of import, etc. So I found this at Fortnum's and popped it into my hamper. It is basically exactly the same sort of thing, the Stilton, classic Stilton jar, but without the Stilton in. So I am going to use this and put my wooden spoons in here. You could put sweeties in here for the sprogs. You could do all sorts of things, but it's got the classic Fortnum's design, and it's absolutely lovely. That is going to look awesome in the kitchen, I think. So another thing I bought was a tea strainer. So I do actually have a tea strainer, but the kids have started using it for experiments. So I just thought actually really like a new tea strainer. And I've got a special Mulberry House blend that I had made for my 40th birthday from Fortnum. So it is rather special, and I feel like this is going to be just really make my tea time even more special. It's so beautiful, absolutely stunning, and it's got a little holder to it. How beautiful. It's such a lovely little present for someone. When we went round Fortnum & Mason's, the guy said that these little things sell like hotcakes because people just want the tiny little bags. I think there's some little chocolates in there, grey truffles, yeah, little chocolates. But we do tree presents on Boxing Day, so we hide little presents in the tree. So it just, I mean, tiny things like a paintbrush. But it just sort of elongates the excitement onto the next day. And I thought these would be absolutely perfect to hang in the tree. So 2 little bags for my 2 little sprogs to hang in the tree, and a little extra surprise for Boxing Day. I had to get this. This is just so sweet. It's a tiny little Fortnum's hamper as a tree decoration. Isn't that perfect? I absolutely love it. That is going to look so good. Although I'm going to have to be super careful with our tree because it's a dud this year. We haven't had one before, so we've done 9 years of a fresh tree, and this is the first dud that we've had. But it has not drunk any water. It is falling apart. It's drooping terribly. So let's just hope it makes it to the big day, and it might not even make it to New Year this year. But anyway, it's fine. It's decorated, it's got lights on, it'll be fine. I absolutely love a notebook, and I use different notebooks for different things. So, you know, if my sort of content stuff is in one, my book stuff is in another one, my other job is in another one. It's just so, I prefer just to sort of really separate things out, but I'm a real tactile person, so I absolutely have to have a notebook. I can't do anything on my phone or on my laptop. I love having something. So I've got this in the beautiful Eau de Nil from Fortnum's, and I'm very much looking forward to writing in that. It's just
so lovely. It's like it's almost like a shagreen, or I don't know how you say that, but just such beautiful leather and such a classic, lovely little present. Another thing I got for my husband, just to sort of jazz up the present a little bit, are these faux silver condiment holders. They're from Zara Home, and you just pop them in and that will make a table, I think. You can fit all sorts in there. You can fit a very large Coleman's mustard. I've actually put the Fortnum's one in this one, so you can see the different shapes. So sweet. So I thought that was a fun little present, just to add a bit of interest to the dinner table.